Hi, welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. And it is May 11th, 2025, and this is my weekly update, number 107. So, it's Sunday, and it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to everybody. Now, before we get started with everything that I did through the week, I do want to answer a question that I get asked every so often, and that is about my diamond paintings. What do I do with my diamond paintings? Well, the answer is it depends. A lot of them that I do just because I like to, and I don't really have any plans necessarily after they're done. So then what I do is I stack them up into this big artist canvas bag that I have that can just slide over like my couch, slide under my couch. Now sometimes the very big ones I have to roll up a little bit and put in there. But other times I like to finish them and display them. So how do I finish them? Well, my preferred method is to use like an artist canvas that you can buy like anywhere. You can buy them at Walmart, Michael's. Used to buy them at Joann's. They're not there anymore. Or Hobby Lobby, anything like that. And I just wrap them around it. Now this was one of the first ones I started playing with. Now, you see these circles here? That's because I used some spray adhesive and I sprayed it too close to the diamond painting. But, you know, you learn. But this is just one of those artist canvas, just a canvas. And as you can see, I just wrap it around and I staple it to the back. And then I can hang it up. Now this is one that I have in a bathroom that I like. So there you go. Now, when you start getting to the really big canvases, they can get quite expensive. So what I do in that case is I don't necessarily buy the artist canvas. It's cheaper at that point to buy the stretcher bars, which the stretcher bars are just these wood pieces that then they stretch the canvas around. Is what they are. So then you put them together and then I will wrap my diamond painting around that and staple it. So this is one that I have hanging in my kitchen. Like I said, and these are the stretcher bars, which these stretcher bars I bought at Hobby Lobby. And like I said, I just wrap it around. Now I will buy the stretcher bars about an inch or two shorter than what the actual diamond painting is, just depending on what the actual dimensions is, just so I can wrap the sides around it, because I don't want the key to show on the sides. So that's what I do. And then I can just hang it on the wall, just like a canvas painting. Now, I have seen other people do many different things. You can frame them. However, trying to find the exact frame that fits them can be quite a challenge sometimes. And custom framing is quite expensive for diamond painting, in my opinion. So that's what I prefer to do. I just prefer to get the stretcher bars and go from there. So that's what I do with them. Now, I do have a lot of them around the house, except those were just the two that were easiest for me to get and pull off the wall and put back. Some of them that I have around my house, I have them stuck to the wall with those, I can't even think of what they're called now. The 3M, like, picture hanger tape things that have the Velcro on them. So pulling that off kind of messes with the Velcro and kind of pulls it off, and then I have to redo that. So I didn't want to take any of those down. But that's what I do. Okay, so what did I do this week? Well, as you can see, this is the Rose and Bloom quilt behind me that I worked on last year and did a block of the month, and I had already had it quilted, which when I quilted it, I quilted with this Ribbon and Roses is what I believe the pattern, the pantograph is called. So this week I put the binding on, which the binding is just this pink binding. So I just have this pink binding all the way around it. So that's what I did, one of the things I did this week. So it's all the way done. So we'll go ahead and take a closer look at everything. Okay, so I'm starting at the top and then I'm working my way down. There's the center of it. Now, of course, it looks kind of lumpy just because it hangs from the wall and I've got different things behind it. Going down, and over, then back up. So that's my Rose and Bloom quilt. That's finally completely done. Now my fabrics are a little bit brighter than what they are here because I had used, I picked out my own fabrics. I'd had a gift card at Hobby Lobby at the time, so I just picked fabrics out from there, and that's what I made mine with. There was a few that I had scraps from home that I had used, but most of them were picked out from Hobby Lobby fabrics. So what else did I do? Well, I did videos on block 4, I think it was. Let me pull it out. Yeah, I did a video on a block 4 of this Flower Shop Block of the Month quilt by My So Quilty Life. I did the tulip block. And let me pull those out. So I did month 4 this week, or block 4. Now when she divided this up, she basically made it a 6-month block of the month type thing, but there was 2 blocks a month. I decided I was just going to do 1 block a month. And these may be out of order, but this block 3, another block that I'd already done before, and this block. Now, like I said, they may be out of order as far as what blocks they are, but I'll figure that out when it's time to put the final quilt together. I'm still a long ways from that. So like I said, I worked on block 4, that one. So what else did I do? Well, let me move some things around and I'll show you. I also did a video with this flowering block 1, which is just the Sew Sampler block of the month this year, and it is Grow Girl block. Now I had used my own fabrics from my stash. Now, and this is what mine is looking like. Now I'm using the Kindred Fat Quarter bundle. Kindred was a line, I believe it came out last year from One Canoe 2 by Moda. And then I had to throw in a few other fat quarters. So let me show you what my color palette is. So this is what I'm using for my quilt. So that's all my color palette, and I've got everything stashed, and basically we're going with fat quarters. So I'm going to make everything from fat quarters. The fabric requirements did come out, and you know, there were some that had like, I don't know, 3/8 this or whatever, but I just put multiple fat quarters for that block of fabric, I should say. So mine is going to be much more scrappier than what theirs are, but that's okay. That's kind of what my color palette's going to look like. And I also have this gray down here. Let me show you. So I also have this gray down here that will be part of it too. So that's going to be my color palette. I don't want to get everything in order. Or out of order. Alright. And then, if need be, I've also pulled or have some of these extra fat quarters that I could put in there if need be. So that's what I'm doing. I worked on that. Now, in the past years, I have gotten a kit, not always, but usually gotten a kit, so I'd have the finish instructions, because the finishing instructions come with the fabric, so I could start putting it together before that last block of the month. This time I didn't, so I have to wait until that last month before I can start putting everything together. Alright, I worked on that. Now, for the quilting projects I haven't made videos on, I have been working on this boxed quilt kit. It's Forest Fungi is the name of the pattern, and the fabric line, I think it's called Pumpkin Spice, from Simple Simon & Co. And the pattern's designed by Pen and Paper Patterns. So I almost have all the mushrooms together and the leaves. Let me show you where I am. I've made a lot of progress since the last time I showed you this. So here are some of the mushroom blocks. I basically have one seam down, this mushroom block, and then the mushroom blocks are all done. So like I said, I've got that seam down the middle. There's one mushroom block. Let me show you the opposite sides. And then show you the back of this. This is another mushroom block that's going the opposite direction. There we go. So I have those. And then the leaf blocks for this. Let's see what I can show you. Okay. So this is the center of the leaf. I should have showed you a different color. It may have worked a little better. And this will be the side of the leaf. And then the other side I've got here too, but it's kind of hard to pull all those up. So that's kind of what my leaves are looking like. I should have showed you a different colorway because then you could have seen the veins in the leaves a little bit better. And those I still have to sew, and then I can sew those 3 sections together and the leaves will be done. So I've made progress on that. And then the last thing I worked on is this new Bedford quilt from Free Spirit. Now this was a free pattern when I printed this off. I can no longer find that, so I don't believe it's free anymore. So I have the center of this quilt top all done. Now of course I have completely different fabrics from this. I'm basically working on the borders. I have this first border done, this skinny middle border. I just have it pinned on, and then I have a bigger border to put all the way around it. So this will be my bigger border. I'll show you the quilt when I'm done, but here's my bigger border that will go all the way around it. But here is the quilt. Let me back up. I'm not going to think I'm going to undo it all, just because this is what it's looking like. Like I said, I'm just working on that border. That top, that skinny middle border is pinned on. I just have to sew that on and then start with that bigger border all the way around. So that is almost done. And just since I have new subscribers, I just want to mention, when I work on things, I work things in a rotation. I don't work in things like one project all the way through. I have about 14 different projects that I rotate through. I'll do a step or two on a particular project, usually about 2 projects. I pull 2 projects at a time. I will do a step or 2 on those projects, and then I put it back and pull the next project out. So I will take it to the sewing machine, I will sew, and then I will come over here and pin and press. Well, I'll press and pin on the next steps, and then I put it back. So when I come in to pull that next project out, everything is pinned just for me to go to the sewing machine and start sewing. And then after I sew, like I said, I will come back and I'll press and pin those next steps. And that's just how I do it. Everybody's different, but I like to do that myself just because it keeps things interesting. I never get bored, and people will probably disagree with me, but I think I find a lot of my mistakes that way, because each time I pull it out, I'm pulling out with a fresh eye. And in addition to those rotating through, I will work on a sewing project, and then I go put like a length of thread into a cross stitch project, and then I'll do a little bit of my crochet, and then I'll work a few colors of my diamond painting, and then I come back to sewing. So everything is done in a rotation, and I know that may sound like really strange to people, but that's just how I do it, and I seem to get a lot of stuff done that way. So all right, so that is everything that I have worked on as far as sewing and quilting this week. Now, this week I do plan on doing another 3-yard quilt, a video for 3-yard quilt from my advent calendar. And it will be my days 13, 14, and 15 for my 2024 day advent calendar, and I am doing the City Lights pattern. And again, those recorded videos of me working I tend to do on a rotation. It should have been a What Will I Make series this week. However, that is a little bit more involved, so we'll have to worry about that next week, and in the meantime I can work on doing test blocks before I try to attempt that. So next week, if all go as planned, I'll do the What Will I Make series, and that's just where I take some sort of pre-cut, you know, some background, and sometimes some yardage, and make something using a free tutorial, usually from Missouri Star. Alright, now, cross stitch. What did I do for my cross stitch? Well, I have been working on, I'm dropping things, this hands-on design tulip house, and it has 2 different pieces. This spring up here, and then this picture down here. Now I do work all of one color at a time, so I worked all of the white up here, and then all the white down here, and I was working on the green last week, so I finished all of the green up here, and all of the green down here. And now I've started on this color right here. They call it melon, so that's what, so it's a peachy pink color. So this is where I'm at. Now I am doing this on 14 count chalkboard black Ada. So that's where I am with the springs. And here I am with the house. So that is my cross stitch. Now, as far as crochet goes, I did work on 2 more of these wooble kits that we had got on clearance at Joann's. So I made Mateo, the avocado, and Roosevelt, the moose. So, anyway, we have the avocado. This is, oh, there it is. This is Mateo. So my daughter has been hiding this from me all week. The one day I found it in the refrigerator. Yeah. The other day I found it on the washing machine. It's like, yeah, but it didn't do any of my laundry, so that wasn't very nice of it. And then we have the moose. This is Roosevelt, the moose. I thought it was Roosevelt, but I guess there is that other O in it. And when I was listening to the video, it called it Roosevelt. So, Roosevelt it is. But it's the moose. Now, my daughter says if we took the antlers off, it would look like a pig. So maybe I'll just have to do it in pink and take off the antlers. Might make the nostrils a little bit different. We'll see. Who knows? So those are my wooble kits. Now those wooble kits are pretty pricey. They're $30, $40 a piece, which I think is overpriced. However, we did get them at Joann's when they were on clearance. Some of them were as low as like $9, other one was $12, and even those I think is a little bit pricey. But you do get a crochet hook, stitch markers, and a needle in every one, plus all the yarn. So there's that. Now, what else did I work on? It's my diamond painting. Let me bring that up. Now this is the Amsterdam Canal by Diamond Art Club. Now this was an older diamond painting from quite a while ago. Now, I have seen, as I was showing you at the beginning, what I do with my diamond paintings, I have seen people just will take this whole diamond painting and put it on a wall. I've seen some people cut the keys off and put it on the wall. Me, personally, I prefer to wrap them around the stretcher boards or the canvas, the artist canvas, just because I think it gives it a more finished look. But that's just my opinion. Okay, so that is everything that I've worked on and completed throughout the week. Until next time.